Hello everyone and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be checking out Rogue Legacy by a developer known as Cellar Door Games. This is a side-scrolling 2D action RPG with procedurally generated elements, and it actually plays a little bit like a mix between 10 Million and Chasm, if you can believe that. And I know we're now comparing games that aren't out to other games that aren't out, but in a world where we are playing like this one, a press preview beta, essentially, sometimes that does need to be done. So I should preface, of course this is a small break from our continual LD26 coverage, as you probably have noticed, but I did need to play this one really soon, well, sooner than later rather, because I just got freaking obsessed with this. I first got to try it on the Northern Lion Super Show, vicariously through Northern Lion, who was playing it, and I just was really enticed by it. So of course I sent an email to the developer. They were kind enough to get back to me and send me this copy. And then I did a stream last night where I played this for about 2 hours, and I didn't even want to stop, even though I had done everything there pretty much was to do in this preview version. Of course, the game is not complete in this state, so there's a lot more to do than I had to do in those 2 hours. But I wanted to revisit it with you guys, give you a little video, and show you why I think this is a really, really good game, and why it definitely deserves your support over on the Greenlight campaign, so I'm of course going to be linking that. Anyway, let's get off of this main menu. I know how much you guys hate those. So here we are. I've wiped my save. I've started back at the beginning. I actually had a level 60-something character here, and I had actually built up just, I think, about all the runes and mostly all the equipment that you can unlock. So what we're going to be doing is exploring procedurally generated Castlevania-esque castles with this lovely 2D art style, and we're going to be looking to power up our character and play through a succession of knights who will then go on to avenge their relatives, or ancestors I should say, as they go forward through this adventure. So journals to fill us in with what's going on with the story. Not super interested in the story right now, but honestly the gameplay speaks completely for itself. As you might expect, since I made the comparison to 10 Million, we're going to start this game extremely underpowered, and we're going to be working our way up the chain of command, so to speak, as we get more and more little unlocks to power up and augment our character to, thereby have better runs and collect more gold in the future. So this character that we're playing as right now doesn't really have much in the way of special abilities. He does have daggers he can throw, which, use up a little MP, 10 at a time, not a big deal though. And it's going to give us the ability to hopefully get a bunch of rooms done before we get unceremoniously murdered. And like I said, that is just going to happen. It's a fact of life in this game. That's just how it works. By the way, I absolutely love this guy's walking animation. It's like the silliest thing ever, but somehow it so works. This game has so much character to it, like the art style, the animations, everything feels really cohesive, and everything's really smooth. The controls work great, and even though this is a beta, it feels like it's basically done right now. I could basically just go on and play this for days and not have any regrets. And in fact, had I had the full version, I absolutely would have done exactly that. So I'm probably going to die already. This is, well, a little sooner than I was even expecting, but maybe I can jump over a couple more of these bolts if I'm lucky. Gotta watch out for the spike traps, of course. Oh, one more hit should do that guy in. There we go. This is going to be tricky because I got spike pits on the bottom and stuff over top. There we go. A lot of timing involved there. That's no problem. I always feel like I'm going to be able to hit the torches since there's such like a slight Castlevania feeling to it. I feel like I'm going to be able to get hearts out of them. This is a mini boss. I don't actually want to fight this, but as long as I walk under it and don't engage it, I should be fine. I actually feel a little weird doing this video like this because I never do videos where I've played like hours and hours of the game before I actually talk about it with you, but this time I couldn't resist. I'm probably going to get myself killed here. Or I'll do the world's greatest MLG gameplay you've ever seen in your life. That's fine too. Really was not expecting that. Alright, so let's try and make our way back up. I can almost guarantee I'm not going to be able to do what I just did to get down to get back up, but give it a shot. Whoa, whoa, okay, well, I got close. Closer than I expected anyway. Anyway, so the point of this game isn't necessarily to live a super long time, at least at the beginning, like I've sort of reiterated a couple times. The point here is to get some gold, do your best, and then eventually die, where you will then be able to choose your heir. And right now, we've got 3 to choose from. We've got Lady Teresa, who is a Knave class, a risky hero, has low stats but can land devastating critical strikes, so is a crit-heavy character, has Gigantism. You were born to be a basketball player, so this character is extra large, and has dyslexia. You have trouble reading anyway. You have trouble reading things. And they all come with different spells equipped. The Flame Barrier, I'm told, is probably one of the best ones. I don't honestly use the magic all that much, but it is nice that it exists, because there's actually some really interesting plays on different classes that you'll run into later, like one that actually lets you not do any damage with your sword, but every hit you do gives you more MP, and the MP goes to, of course, use your spell, and the spell is super powered. So we've got a Barbarian here, which is a walking tank with OCD. Breaking stuff restores HP and MP. That actually seems like my kind of class. And then we've got Sir Cohen, who is a mage, who is very weak, very intelligent, and every kill gives me mana. We also get a Scythe, which is kind of a neat one to have. I also like the little touches on the characters look slightly different. I would like to see even more randomization with that, but honestly right now it's pretty good. So let's select a child, confirm. It doesn't make a huge difference because we're really not going to last that long anyway with each of these characters. So let's unlock our first to build up our keep. And part of this adventure here is we're going to be killing off all through this whole line of ancestors to also be upgrading a castle along the way. It starts out very humble. Right now we've got literally one thing here that we've unlocked so far, but as we go forward, this castle will grow spires and many branching paths on this skill tree area, and it's just going to keep getting more and more robust as we go. So for 55 gold, I can unlock something. I can unlock an extra plus 10 to my HP, which seems like a pretty good idea, or I can upgrade my mana. Just for the sake of getting more stuff on the board here, I'm going to also grab one of these HP ups, which will then allow me to upgrade a knight. I need 60 gold. If I had 5 more gold, I'd be able to do it. Unfortunately, I cannot. So I'll hit B to return to the castle now. And this is our blacksmith that we just unlocked. He's going to be able to allow us to do a bunch of stuff with blueprints, which we will unlock by finding them in the castle. And for 250 gold, we can unlock the Squire Sword, which will then upgrade my sword. So on and so forth down the line for each piece of armor as we go. I don't believe there's anything I can do with 55 gold at this point, which is unfortunate, but, you know, it is what it is for now. Later on, we're going to get an Enchantress here who will help us with runes, and another guy who will stand over here who will help us with dealing with this death character and how we want to deal with that. So basically what happens is I have 55 gold right now, right? So if I talk to this guy, Charon, and I want to go back into the castle, he's going to re-roll the castle for us, essentially, and take all of our gold. Later on, though, there is a skill tree point that actually allows us to keep more of our gold the more points we put into that. We can also use the guy that I mentioned to unlock to also hold the castle in its current state. So if you have a particularly good run, or have a really good layout that you like that is just jam-packed full of gold or something, you can come back and revisit that later and try and capitalize on your success. There is, of course, a map right now. There's not much on that map. And there is, of course, a boss as well. And right now in this preview version, there's literally one boss. We're going to be fighting a giant eyeball at the end. And once we fight the giant eyeball, it stays dead forever in this preview build, and we can't go fight it again, unfortunately. But we do get some nice bonuses, and we can keep running through the castle over and over again. I just believe that once you get to the point where you've done all the rooms, all you can do is kill yourself, which is a little unfortunate, but I'm not too upset considering this is just a preview build, and I believe it was supposed to be finished in under 45 minutes, and I ended up playing it for a bunch of hours, so definitely good value proposition at the heart of it. And of course, this is pretty much my favorite kind of game. If you've ever heard me talk about RPGs, well, aside from maybe platformers and first-person surreal exploration games, I also like those quite a bit. But this is well up there as far as replayability. You know, two of my very favorite games of all time are Castlevania Symphony of the Night and Super Metroid. And maybe this one doesn't have quite the Metroidvania elements, although it does have more than I expected it to have. There are actually some puzzles and stuff that require... That guy's gonna kill me. There are some puzzles that require you to have certain abilities to be able to access them, or maybe I should say certain handicaps in a way, because if you have a particularly small character, there are actually spots where you can sneak through the level. There's secrets. There's all kinds of jumping puzzles and stuff that you might only be able to access with a certain ability. There's one that's you have to fall down a pit that's coated in spikes and you can only fall a certain way, and if you miss and you take a hit, you don't get the chest. There's a little challenges along the way as well for fairy chests, which usually unlock runes, although they can unlock other abilities as well, like permanent stat upgrades and stuff. So basically, the ground is quite fertile for you to play this for hours and hours and hours without ever stopping, because every single time you do, you're going to make some sort of incremental progress. And if you'll pardon my slightly poor gameplay here, I am still getting reacclimated again. Oh, well, okay, I died very, very quickly on this run. I don't even think I got a particularly nice amount of gold this time. But every little bit counts, unless it's such a little bit that it actually doesn't count, because sometimes there's not even, you know, any gold that you can put into any of the skills you've unlocked so far, because maybe they all cost a little too much. So who do I want this time? Walking tank again, who is nearsighted? Well, yeah, why don't we show off what it looks like to be nearsighted. So I've got 280 gold. That's actually a little bit more than I expected. I can upgrade my knight to continue to build onto the tower and get more HP, or I can try and grab some of that equipment. My highest priority for the beginning is going to be to try and get that Enchantress unlocked, so I'm going to unlock the knight class. Now we can upgrade or promote our knights into paladins. Through rigorous training, paladins have learned how to block blows from any direction. I rarely seem to use that skill for whatever reason. Now I can also upgrade my equip, and I'm going to do that, and you'll see our castle gets a little bit more elaborate. And if I had 70 gold, which I do, I will now unlock that Enchantress already. Did I get any runes? I don't think I got any runes yet, but this is a very important thing to have. So what does this unlock on the left? We've got Architect. Why not? We'll grab him as well. See if we can build up the castle real fast. I'm pretty sure that's going to help us in the long run. And that's the guy that I was talking about that's going to lock down the castle if you have a particularly good set of rooms the way that you like them. So that's going to do it for that. So our Blacksmith, we have nothing we can really do with him right now because it's 10 gold, not particularly great. You'll notice there is that blur effect, that's the nearsightedness. It almost looks like a crazy depth of field effect. It's actually kind of cool. And in fact, I haven't really talked particularly much about the graphics and the music, but the audios and the visuals in this are really well done. Really polished, everything seems extremely professional. Borrow your ear for a moment, I'm in need of help. Long time ago in power... Alright, so you're going to tell us about runes. I knew that already. So what kind of runes do I have to deal with? For right now, all I have is a sprint rune, which I can't even buy because it's 175 to unlock. In this one, I have a vault rune, which gives me a double jump, and we can actually stack that. So if I wanted to put a jump rune on my sword, a jump rune on my helmet, a jump rune on my chest, and so on and so forth, we can have now 3, 4, 5 jump runes, or as many as we want to actually put on. Of course, that would be sort of a silly thing, because why would you jump 5 times when you can actually fly? And we'll get that rune, I'm sure, eventually anyway. Moving on. Probably don't need to dwell on this for too long, because I think you're starting to see the formula here, and why this is such an engrossing experience that can pull you in for hours at a time before you've even realized what's going on. Really, my only regret is that there's just not more for me to see yet in this preview build. I honestly really did just want to, like, commit my entire night to playing this without stopping. And just being able to play this for multiple hours on a stream is pretty impressive for a preview build. I can't really say a lot of games that I felt that way about. And honestly, Chasm was probably the last one that I felt that way about. Okay, if this is one of those fairy chest objectives, there's no jumping allowed here. Unfortunately, I don't have a way to not jump at the moment, so I'm going to have to forfeit this fairy chest, which you'll see at the other end. I could actually just jump so I can show you what it looks like. But yeah, objective failed. I now cannot pick this up. It would have had probably a rune in it, I'm pretty sure. That's okay, hopefully we'll find a better one anyway, somewhere else. But yeah, what I was just talking about was Chasm, and how exciting that was, and still is, and the fact that they just got their funding all set on Kickstarter is extremely great, and I'm very much looking forward to playing that. But this one sort of scratches a similar itch that Chasm does, but in a slightly different way, or maybe not even slightly different. It's pretty different, actually. And this feels like a little bit more Castlevania-influenced in a more gameplay-oriented way. I mean, the general gameplay from one room to the next really does feel a lot like Castlevania, and I mean, I don't even think they're going particularly far out of their way to hide that fact, which is fine, because Castlevania is, at this point, it's more like a platform for action-adventure RPGs. What did I unlock? I got a blueprint for the Squire chestplate. Sweet. I don't seem to run into those types of things enough. I don't think there's a particularly large amount of equipment to be unlocked in this demo. That's okay, though. So we'll just keep wailing on some enemies, see if we can collect some gold. We're actually doing fairly well for gold already. 440 is not too bad for what our third run. There's another journal. When you read through that, it enters back into your lobby area where you saw there was that table with the journal sitting on it, and then you can reread those if you need to. Fairy chest objective is to take no damage. I showed you this one, or I mentioned this before. You'll see there's this spike pit here. This is, I believe, completely impossible to do unless you have some ability to double jump. Just for S's and G's, let's try it anyway. Yeah, well, okay. Maybe it was possible, but highly, highly unlikely. But that's why I like this game. There's a lot of replay value, a lot of different ways to approach things. I didn't necessarily have to double jump if I had an ability to maneuver around the map in a slightly different way. Perhaps to dash might have helped, although dashing would probably be a little bit unwieldy with that type of constraint in movement left to right. Alright, we've got a bit of a zombie hall here, or skeleton hall. And even some of the monsters are quite reminiscent of Castlevania, and again, I really don't have a problem with it, because these are just sort of fantasy tropes at the same time, and that's really what Castlevania made a lot of its success off of, was just capitalizing on the fact that, hey look, every mythological creature you can think of is in this game, and you can fight them, and it's super fun, and you can get items, and just keep moving forward to explore a giant map. So, I mean, really, the only thing Castlevania at the time could have done better is to be procedurally generated so I could keep playing it over and over and over and over again. This game addresses that issue for me, so there we go. Game of my dreams in a lot of ways. Oh, I probably should have known that was there. But yeah, I mean, just the general combat, the feel of everything, like I said earlier, it's super tight, it feels really good. Just controlling your character around is the way you would expect it to feel. There's like no frills when it comes to that. Nothing is compromised. It's all engaging, which is not something I always feel like. There's almost no negative that I can come up with this game, aside from I just want more of it, and that is like the right negative to have. So Lady Winry has been slain by a corrupt knight. Who's Winry? That's from Full Metal Alchemist, right? Yeah. You can actually go in and add more names to the INI file if you want, or the setup file, or whatever it is, if you want to just put custom names into it. So what kind of classes do we have to choose from this time? We've got a Knave, a risky hero has low stats, can land devastating critical strikes, walking tank, and another tank who is stereo blind in 3D and nearsighted. Let's do the middle one. I think this air thing is actually a really good idea. It actually gives some like cohesiveness to this premise of like, why would we be doing this? Why would we be exploring this castle over and over and over again like that? So I think it, like, for cohesive sake, they really have thought of most of the issues that might come up from, you know, pretty much every angle that I could think of anyway. I think the best call here is to take some of this money and head back to the Blacksmith, or maybe grab a rune. If I have any vampirism runes, that would be great. I do not. That's okay. I could get a double jump rune at this point. Probably is a good idea to do that. Alright, so we got one rune, first one, very exciting. And what do we have for our swords? We should probably power up our sword to the next level. And I don't think I'm going to have enough for anything else. Oh, I actually do. I have enough for a second helm. And that actually works out very nicely. So you'll see the helm actually does change color, which is pretty awesome. There are actually little cosmetic details like that. And this character, you'll see, does actually have 2 slots for a secondary attack, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure how I would get a secondary attack aside from... I guess you can find them in the castle. I've had that happen a few times. It's not the most common thing, though, so don't expect it to happen this time. This floating around spike ball is definitely one that gets on my nerves. Can't really do anything about it. There's no spell to kill it. There's nothing really. You just gotta avoid it. I have also had a couple of issues, and we've actually... I shouldn't even need to say this, because this game is in beta. This is not finished. And they actually even qualified that in the opening, which you guys didn't get to see, but it said something to the effect of, like, you know, this has some occasional, you know, missing pieces of art and sound, and might have some bugs. Oh, I can pray for assistance. Let's do that. I got Hermes boots. Yeah, but so I've had a couple of bugs, which are not a big deal. I've had, you know, money get stuck in the walls a couple of times. I've had platforms that I wasn't able to technically get to because of my size. I've been able to kind of glitch into them. Which meant that I actually ended up trapping myself, so I couldn't get back out. There is actually a return to title screen option, though, so that's not a huge deal. And you don't even lose your progress, I don't believe. You just, oh, well, okay, that was awfully fast. Yeah, I think you just go out back to the lobby of the castle, and I think everything's pretty much the way you left it. So, who can I pick this time? We got a mage, who is very weak but very intelligent. Every kill gives you mana. A mage with gigantism, or who do we have up here? Endomorph, naturally heavy. Enemies cannot knock you back. This is due to the, like, a crazy cape on and a huge white beard wearing a pretty little pink bow on his head. It's kind of funny. You can actually look back at the succession of heirs, which is kind of a cool touch as well. I'm not sure if that'll go on forever. Probably shouldn't, to be honest, because the list gets freaking long. With the amount I played last night, I probably must have died 100 times. So what should I purchase this time? Well, I don't have a lot of money, so I probably can't really put too much in. I'll just get another HP up, maybe, or maybe an attack up. Let's get an attack up. Might as well hit that point. So we still got 40 gold. That's not going to be enough for anything, I don't believe. 85 is the cheapest, which is actually very cheap. After not too long, you'll end up having pretty much everything be at a floor of about 300. And it just keeps going up from there. And I think where I left off, when I finished the amount that I could basically play through the preview build, it was pretty much like everything I needed was about like 600 to 800, if not 1,000. And there were still dozens of things I hadn't unlocked. Like, I mean, still, like, for the most part, most of the points were open, but there were a lot of, you know, auxiliary bonus points I could put into skills that I hadn't done yet. Okay, so I have a sword wall, which is my magic skill for this character. That's just going to provide some blocking ability for projectiles, and also hopefully stop some of these guys from charging at me. Although, didn't really block any of those projectiles in particular. Oh, a little gold stream there, that's cool with me. Oh, wow, okay, well, I probably should have dodged that. Lady Jojobo. That was a lady? She had quite a beard on her. I guess that's what the bow is about, huh? Jojobo. Who's this guy? Sir Fleming the Knave. He has critical strikes. Another knave. Oh, we got 3 knaves. Alright, let's pick the one with the baldness and conflux, which launches orbs everywhere. That seems like a good thing to have. I've got 150 gold again. Now, is that enough to get anything? Well, I can get equip up again, so I get a little bit more weight capacity, which I haven't even mentioned is a thing. You actually have to have enough weight capacity to be able to carry things around. A lot of these, as you probably noticed, are just new classes. So the Barbarian right there is a class, the Mage is a class, the Knight is a class, and there's actually, I think, a total of 8 or 9 of them that'll be in the game in the full version. The demo, I'm sure I unlocked at least 6 or 7 of them. What should I do this time? Should I maybe just, let's see if 150 can buy me anything. So my guy seems to have a trail floating behind him. That requires 350, that's not going to work. 200, and I don't even have a cape. Alright, so I guess I'm going to have to spend it on some kind of skill out here. Let's just get another HP up, because I seem to be dying awfully fast, although I'm sure my terrible gameplay isn't really doing us any favors here. So we'll do 1 or 2 more runs, and I think we're pretty much going to be set to go. It's not probably worth trying to fight the boss at this point. I'm so early on that it's just kind of silly to do that. Although, the pattern for the boss is pretty predictable, so once you understand how to fight it, like, I'm pretty sure you could probably fight it and not take any damage. You know, if you're particularly skilled, which I never am during these videos. So I should mention again, this is going to be one of those games when I'm going to ask for your help to get the greenlight campaign going if you can. I mean, it's going, but like if you can give it a vote, or a thumbs up rather, or a favorite, or whatever you gotta do, I'm sure everyone here will be very appreciative of that. Alright, this is getting risky. Whoa. Wow, I made it through that without taking any hits. Wow, I've never seen this event. I should mention there are also some wacky events that show up. I've had a carnival thing happen where I had to throw daggers at targets. I don't know what this guy's about, though. Greetings, Adventure Seeker. I am here to give you a chance of a lifetime. A measly sum of half your current gold. I will give you a chance to open 1 of 4 chests. 1 chest will be empty, another will give you back half of what you paid. The 3rd chest is 125 what you paid. The last chest will double your payment. Well, I don't have a lot of gold, so it would be silly not to do this, because I can get this all back very, very quickly. Which is the good chest, do you think? Let's go 2nd from the beginning here. What's this one have? Nothing! You jerk! You took my money. Sorry, dude, 1 chest per person. If I give you 1 more chance to you, I have to give 1 to somebody else. Alright, well, screw you, buddy. I guess that's why we had to go through this little gauntlet to get down to the end here. I'm guessing I'm probably not going to make it back without taking a hit. because it was hard enough to go with the flow of Fireball. Okay, well, I almost did it. Better than I expected. Still picking up more gold. The fairy chest says, don't take any damage. We've seen this event already, but now I do have double jump, so there is a small chance that I'll be able to make it through this unscathed. It would be silly not to try anyway. So what's the best strategy here? Let's try and aim for the right, and then when I start getting too close to the left, I'm just going to try and jump and hope for the best. Let's see. It all happened so fast! Oh my goodness, I actually made it. I got the Sky Rune for bracers. Okay, well, I'm sure that is probably the one that lets me fly, although I don't remember exactly. If you haven't noticed, by the way, there are those little dots on the bottom left of the screen. That's just indicating what runes I have active. Not sure we necessarily have to see that all the time. I mean, it probably would be preferable to have some sort of an option in the preferences menu to turn that off once we get what our character build's about. Because actually, you generally tend to roll with like the same runes most of the time, unless you want to try something tricky and mix up your formula. And, you know, if I did that, I would know what was going on beforehand. Found a blueprint for the Knight's Helm, so now we will be able to buy a Knight's Helm in our equipment area at the Blacksmith. Always a good thing to have. Let's check our map. So we've got a very constricted little castle right now, but I'm sure things are going to open up as we head down. Another picture frame there that's going to come at us. Alright, took a lot of terrible damage there. So I said that I was probably going to Let's Play Chasm, and that still pretty much stands, but I actually might end up Let's Playing this as well, because I freaking love this game. Doesn't really take much to tell from what I've been talking about this whole time. Probably one of the most enthusiastic videos I've done in a while. Not that there's anything wrong with the LD games, actually. I've been enjoying a lot of those as well. But sometimes a game just really hits you in like the exact right spot. And this is it. Let's pray for assistance. Oh no, it's the Sonic's Curse. This is the worst thing ever. What this means is when I take a hit now, I'm going to spill all my gold all over the screen like Sonic would if he took a hit and loses his rings. I'm sure you're going to get to check what I mean by that in just a moment. Although, these guys want to attack through a wall. I guess maybe they can't really hit me that much. So it's kind of a tough spot once you have the Sonic's Curse. You're pretty much doomed to lose a bunch of your gold when you take the fatal blow. Can't really do anything about it either. I mean, I don't think there's a way to like get rid of your curses once you have them. But still got to make the best of it, because you should be able to retain some of your gold. You won't lose all of it. And right here you'll see there's like a slightly off-color tile. Oh, so I actually glitched through that. I don't think I was supposed to be able to go through that unless I was extra small. I feel like I'm smaller than normal, but I don't think I'm extra small. I would love it if there was a slide move also. I mean, it's obviously not a requirement, but I think I'm just hoping for like this carryover from Castlevania. And more destructible items would also be preferable as well, but that's just me. Probably really not necessary. And also, this is just one area of like 5, so once we get to other places, like there's catacombs, I think, some sort of forest, and some other areas as well. So, oh, well, there goes my rings. Even use the freaking Sonic sound effect, I think. But once you get to those areas, I'm sure I'll be not so worried about what's going on in the castle, because really, this is just the beginning. And I did get to a point when I was in my previous save where basically I could easily get through every room every time. And had there been a boss, I probably could have beaten the boss every time too, but, you know, they don't want to let you get a lot of practice on that, which is probably fine. What else can I do here? Hypergonadism, you're born with weak limbs, you can't knock enemies back. Standard hero, pretty good at everything. Alright, let's go with Sir Jarvan. So we got 390. Actually, I didn't lose that much gold at the end, which is great. I should probably try and buy some more armor, but I do want to keep expanding the castle. There's just a balance between what you can do, and you can see you can easily just keep going back into the game because you just want one more perk, and you just keep doing that and doing that over and over, and eventually hours have gone by. I'm probably harping on that point a little too much at this point, but yeah, it is a good game. That's all I'm trying to say. I'll buy... I don't really want to buy any of this stuff. 350 for that. Or just wait a little more and get 325. Ah, fine. Might as well have matching armor, right? Let's do one more run, and then we'll call it quits for Rogue Legacy. I guess if I had one minor complaint, and this is like super petty, so please don't take this to heart, but the title is a little bit forgettable to me. I mean, it's literally one of the least important things I could harp on, but like, honestly, I couldn't remember the title of it for like 3 or 4 times that I tried to do it. Eventually, I was like, okay, it's a roguelike and a legacy game, but there's just like, it's sort of generic buzzwords put together in a way, which, I don't know, doesn't feel really indicative of the gameplay, which actually feels really fresh and fun. I feel like the name actually does a slight disservice, perhaps, but that is just my opinion. And I honestly could probably be compelled to see an argument in the other direction for that as well, so, you know, take it with a grain of salt. I'm not really that upset. So around we go. We're going to see if we can kill all the enemies in this room without dying, and then we should be rewarded with a fairy chest. I think we should be able to do it. This is not a particularly difficult room. Hardest thing going on here is really just that giant orb that wants to take me out. And what do we get? We got a Vault Rune sword for the sword. Okay, so that's going to allow us to jump again. For our sword, of course. Alright, we've got some Ice Mages, an Eyeball. No big deal. And up we go. Doesn't seem to be a whole lot going on up here other than a treasure chest. I'm quite okay with that. And there are even teleport points too, so if you get worried about like backtracking, that's not even really a factor. Since I'm sure you already heard me say that there are other areas than just the castle, we'll be able to teleport back and forth between those. Not sure what you would do if you found yourself in a position where you're basically out of health and anything you tried to fight would kill you. Anyway, that could be a little awkward. Maybe there's a way to get around that. I mean, vampirism on your sword is definitely a big help. If you just jump in, take a couple hits, and, you know, see where it goes. I might as well try to fight the boss once. I will probably intentionally die, or unintentionally, I'm not sure. And just so you can see what he's doing, he's going to fire some bullet hell style blood balls at me. Actually reminds me a little of Phantoon from Super Metroid, the way that acts. There is, like I said, a fairly predictable pattern to how to react to those. He's going to start doing a circular, I think, clockwise pattern in a moment. Oh, he seems to really want to do that same one a bunch of times. I think I can only take like 1 hit from this before it kills me. Oh, okay, 2 hits. Alright, this would be really strange, but I actually might be able to kill this thing. I mean, now I'm going to die now that I said it. But this is way, way sooner than I was able to before. I was like level 40-something before I could kill him the other time. Well, I guess at least I should be able to show off what happens. So there we go. We killed the giant eyeball monster. We get the super awesome chest. We didn't explore like half of the level map on that one. But it's okay. So we got a bunch of stats. MP, MP, and HP upgrade +5. Sounds good to me, man. Thanks for playing the Rogue Legacy demo. You're pretty good at games. I appreciate that. A little bit of recognition is always nice. So that is going to do it for our little run-through of Rogue Legacy. I absolutely would love to urge you guys to please head on over to their greenlight page. The link is going to be right in the description of this video. Go click on that, you know, like button, the favorite button for it, so we get a few more people interested in it. I would really love to see this game hit Steam. I'm definitely going to be playing more of it regardless of what goes on, but I really do want to see them get as much support as possible. This game really has a lot of heart to it, and a lot of really good decisions went into it, and it came out of pretty much nowhere. You know, before Ryan showed this to me on the stream, I don't even think I've heard of it. So props to these guys for developing such a great game and doing it so quietly. So that is going to do it for another episode of Indie Impressions, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, remember to head on over to my website, which is indie-impressions.com, so you can check out all the other series episodes, going all the way back to the original ones. Back in, what is it, early April of 2012. We're now close to 400 episodes into the series and still going strong with all of your support. So please do check out the website, see what you can find. There's forums over there. We do game giveaways occasionally. I also have a Facebook page if you want to go visit there as well, which is facebook.com/indieimpressions. If you'd like to leave a like on that, it makes it convenient for you to keep up on what's new with the channel, because I do occasional channel updates and contests there. All kinds of goodies to check out, as well as I usually announce whenever there's a live stream going on or whatever generally is going on in the world of Indie Impressions or the RockLeeSmile YouTube channel. Aside from that, though, if you want to say hey, get in contact with me, or just chat about indie game stuff, quickest way to reach me is to either send me a contact form email via, indie-impressions, or if you want to just send me a tweet, my Twitter handle is at RockLeeSmile, and of course all my social media info is right in the description, as well as, again, the Greenlight campaign page for this game. So again, last time, please go over there, help them out. Let's make this thing happen. So that is going to do it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you come back again tomorrow for another awesome indie game. Have a lovely night, and I will see you then.